Hey, what is going on YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Today I will be talking about 3 drawbacks to owning an all-wheel drive vehicle. Now, when you guys talk about all-wheel drive, especially Subaru, you think about practicality, you think about not having to put on chains onto your vehicle, especially when you're going up into the mountains, and you know, you get to go through snow like nothing. Like, it's very, very grippy. Subarus especially are amazing in the snow, and you know, you could just take those corners and bends like nothing. So it's like awesome, all-wheel drive is amazing. However, there are major setbacks to the ownership experience of an all-wheel drive vehicle that I would like to share with you guys today. So starting off at number 1, guys, tire replacements. Now, tire replacements can get extremely costly, and especially given the way all-wheel drive works, you know, it provides you a lot of traction, and you know, it has the most utility in harsh environments, especially up in the mountains where it snows a lot. You know, there's a lot of value to the ownership of an all-wheel drive vehicle, but tire replacements can be very, very costly. Now, what do you mean by that? So you guys already know I have my dream car behind you guys, my 2018 Subaru WRX, and it's amazing, but as a city dweller, I don't really get to actually use the all-wheel drive system as frequently as I want to, so other than going out to the mountains. But in the off chance that one of your tires pop, so let's say one single tire pops, you have to replace all 4 tires. So I actually didn't know that coming into the ownership of an all-wheel drive vehicle. When I owned my 2012 Subaru Impreza hatchback 2.0i, I think about 2 months in, the back left tire popped, and I think there was a nail that went right through it, and there was a big gash on it, and I was like, oh man, this sucks. So I went to a tire shop and I was like, yo, patch me up, how much is it gonna cost? If you can't patch it up, hey, let me buy you know, 1 tire to replace that. And they're like, no, sorry, we have to refuse that. We can't sell you just 1 single tire because you have an all-wheel drive vehicle. There's liability issues associated with that. You have to buy 4 brand new tires. And I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Really? Like, before owning my Impreza, I owned a Toyota Celica and an Integra, so they're both front-wheel drive vehicles, and so I'm used to buying 2 tires at most at a time, right? And so I'm sitting there going, what? 1 tire, and now I have to buy 4 to replace 4? Like, that is crazy. That is so dumb. And they're like, you know, unfortunately, that's just the way all-wheel drives work. And so I looked into it, and sure enough, it is. So as a vendor, they don't want to be liable for any issues that you may face, right? So imagine your car has like 10 to 15,000 miles wear and tear on your tires, and one of them pops, and then they put 1 brand new tire onto it. So now the tread's off. You have 1 brand new tire and you have 3 used tires. So they just don't want to deal with that at all, and so instead you have to buy a full set. So it was very, very costly, and so definitely consider that. A lot of the people in the Subaru community, what they do is they have a second spare set of wheels. So often they differentiate it between your summer tires and your winter tires, but ultimately, just as long as you have a backup spare set of wheels, you're good to go. So if you encounter a pop, you know, slap on your spare tire, bring it home, and swap it all out, and you're good to go. So that's number 1. The second thing about the drawbacks of owning an all-wheel drive vehicle is the mileage, guys. The MPG on your vehicle tends to suffer a little bit more, and you don't have that efficient of MPG compared to a lot of the other cars in the market. So I'll just use my Subaru Impreza hatchback as an example. So I know a little bit more about Imprezas, but actually let's focus on the current 2018 models. So currently right now, guys, a 2018 Subaru Impreza hatchback 2.0y, the MSRP for that car is about $18,495, and you get an MPG of 28 city and 38 freeway. And then I'll just use 2 examples. I'm not biased. I don't want to, you know, make a whole list of everything, but the next one is a Toyota Corolla. It sits around $18,000 $18,600, and the MPG rating for that is 30 city and 40 freeway. And lastly, the 2018 Honda Civics, it starts off MSRP at $18,840 with an MPG rating of 32 city, 42 freeway. Now that is crazy, like the substantial differences between that, and the price range is ultimately the same. However, both of these other cars are front-wheel drive vehicles, so the reason why you're going to suffer from MPG loss when you're going into an all-wheel drive vehicle is mainly because of the system that sells that car, is that it's an all-wheel drive vehicle. The all-wheel drive system is a little bit heavier on the car, and as a result it causes the car to be a little heavier, and you know, essentially a heavier car means worse fuel economy, and that's pretty much just the gist of it. And also, because it's an all-wheel drive vehicle, costs and maintenance are going to be a little bit higher compared to a front-wheel drive or rear-wheel drive vehicle. It's going to be a lot more costly somewhere down the line if something were to break. So definitely use your warranty if you have it. Now moving on to number 3, guys, the last most frustrating thing about an all-wheel drive vehicle, like the ownership experience of that, is understeer. So if you guys aren't familiar with what understeer is, it's essentially when you're taking a corner, you're taking a turn at a fairly high speed. So I'll use initial D for a good example. If you're going down through that corner, and what happens is you fishtail a little bit and your rear end pulls out and you face the direction of where you're coming from, right? So if I'm going this direction and I hit the corner and I turn backwards like that, that's called oversteer. I'm essentially oversteering the turn, and so essentially that's the gist of drifting. So they control that oversteer and they're able to get out of that corner, and it looks really, really cool and stuff like that. So that's what oversteer is. Understeer, however, is when you take that corner and your car stays at that same position, and you end up going right into the wall or right through the cliff, and it's really, really bad. Both are really, really bad, but especially with Subarus and all-wheel drive vehicles, all-wheel drive give you that sense of confidence, right? Like false confidence, especially when you're taking corners, like all that beautiful traction, and you're like, I got this car is not gonna fail me, and you take that turn really, really hard and really, really sharp, and you understeer and you go right into the wall. So that is something that you should definitely you know, put into consideration when you are going into buying an all-wheel drive vehicle. Be very, very careful of how you go about driving an all-wheel drive vehicle, because even though Subaru is rated as one of the top most safest vehicles out there, it also gives you that false sense of confidence, and you know, you might just end up hitting a wall. So be very, very careful. So that pretty much wraps up my video, guys. These are 3 major setbacks to the ownership of an all-wheel drive vehicle. Now, if you are planning to get an all-wheel drive vehicle, by all means, guys, it's a wonderful car. It is extremely practical, and budget accordingly, right? It's all about budget, especially when you're a car enthusiast, and you know, it's all about buying the car that fits your needs in your life, right? And what you want and that makes you happy. So with an all-wheel drive vehicle, the maintenance costs, you know, the replacement costs, and just the overall experience of an all-wheel drive vehicle is amazing, but at the same time it is a little more costly than a front-wheel drive vehicle and a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So I hope you guys like this video. Please definitely give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Subscribe!